So a big welcome from Golf United FC is Jordi, a coach there, and thanks for joining us. And I guess, can you just tell us a little bit about how good it's been to jump back on the pitch at the moment?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable to get back on the pitch. Obviously, we're all football guys at heart, and obviously having no football to watch and nothing to kind of do during that period that involves football on the pitch itself, we miss it just as much as the players. So it's fantastic that we're allowed to be back on and it's safe again that everyone can start playing.
Yeah. So what have you been getting up to during trainings now that you're back?
So at the moment, we have been doing trials to fill our teams for next year. So most of our teams are probably about 90% full. Still looking for any standout players that would kind of convince us that they deserve a spot. We've been working on each player's been given an individual program to work on during the summer. A lot of our guys who are still here are going to the USA or Canada very soon. That's still a bit in the air because of the situation over there. So some of them might be leaving in January, some might be leaving in August. So it's really important that we push them so that they can hit the ground running when they get there. And then, of course, we have some guys who's going to be going into their first season of men's football. So they're more focused on the weights and the nutrition and this type of thing. And then we've got the kids who just, ready to improve and take a step forward every season. So a lot of things to be done. And starting in September, brand new season. Successes of last year don't mean anything, and it's time to push on again.
Yeah. And I guess during that, you mentioned a lot of players do head off to scholarships kind of in the States and in Canada. Can you tell me a little bit about how they get that opportunity and how great it is for them?
So it's a really, really fantastic opportunity for the boys and girls because it combines the two things that the first thing that they love, which is football, or it doesn't have to be football, but any sport, playing at a very, very high level, living the life of a pro. But at the same time, you have that safety net of a world-class education, whereas only a small percentage of people actually do make it as professional, and it's a way to really chase that dream of being a professional. And living that lifestyle that you've always dreamed of and playing in front of crowds on TV, etc. But at the same time, you have that safety net that hopefully, and this is what we hope for all our players, when they're 21, 22, they're coming out of university in the best case scenario, which is they have a potential career in the sport that they love, but they also have a good opportunity to go into any career field that they've studied. With a really great degree behind them and a chance to be successful in either domain. And of course, the parents like us because we save them a lot of money as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's always good. Do you know, off the top of your head, what types of, what universities have they been going to? Have your kids been going to? Is it certain ones that they tend to head to?
So we have contacts with hundreds of universities in USA and Canada. And then we pair them up with the right level of sport, plus the right level of education, plus the right level of budget. So the parents tell us roughly what they can afford to spend. Then we look at the kids' grades. With that, we'll be able to get some academic scholarship if the coach recommends him for that. And then the rest is going to be football scholarship. Plus there's also, little minor details that we look at. So some scholarships, some universities offer scholarships in things like diversity. So what ethnic background you have. Some if you play an instrument. Some if you have been in a leadership program, done community service. So we do help all our kids to get the best deal possible. And we've actually started last year a program called the Young Eagles program, which is where we take our kids and we put them in leadership roles in the club. Teach them about things such as coaching, marketing, video analysis, video editing, all these different types of things. Because, of course, everyone in our club, they love football, and it's everyone's passion really. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, at the end of the day, only a small percentage make it as a professional on the pitch. But there is hundreds of thousands of jobs in the background of football. In professional clubs and in amateur clubs. So if it's your passion, we can really teach you, and you know, it's not, we don't expect them to be walking into jobs anytime soon, but we give them a taste of all different areas of the sports career, and then they can decide what they love and their passion. And some of them have become unbelievable at, you know, video editing, of analysis of the game, of coaching. So some of our bigger ones, under 18s and first team, they coach some of our smaller ones, and you know, it's nice to see the cycle.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, you kind of got those guys coaching some of the ones younger than, and some going off to college. But then, like you mentioned, you've got some stepping up to men's teams. How hard's that jump for, you know, kind of your under 18 players too?
Yeah, it's the thing is, they don't realise how hard it's going to be until it's their first game. So just the physicality, the pace, the power. So most of our guys, when they step up, they have a bit of a rude awakening. But it's important because most and all of our guys, our top teams and all the top teams in the region, they're living in, unfortunately, a bit of a bubble where the level is relatively low. And if you are only playing at that level, you have a quite a low ceiling. So it's important that they get tested at the highest level whilst they are here in Dubai or UAE, in order to be able to make a step up. Because if the step's here and they're playing the youth team football here, we need to bridge that gap somewhere in the middle so that they can survive at the level that they're going to be going to. So it's a really great day when we bring up a new kid from the youth teams, and you know, all his friends in that team support him, and then it's great because then he goes back and joins that team with an attitude where he knows he has to work harder, and being one of the best players in the under-18s league is not really enough if they want to fulfill their dreams. And then that in turn motivates the rest of the guys in that team because they see that this guy, you know, has had a bit of an awakening at the levels that are needed.
Yeah, and as coaches, I guess, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and as well as the other coaches that you've got surrounding you?
Yeah, so we're all Manchester guys, and you know, we all have backgrounds in playing football. College football, professional, semi-professional football, and one of our coaches actually played international football. So we do know what it takes to get to these levels that the guys are hoping for. And myself personally, I have a family background in talent identification. So my dad's been in the business for over 40 years. Found such big players as David Beckham and guys like this. So, you know, we know, seeing those guys at 12 and seeing guys all throughout his career, you know, he really does know, and he's passed on that information to me, hopefully, what it takes to succeed at the very, very top level. And then obviously all the levels in between, we're able to identify at a young age and then give them realistic pathways. You know, everyone wants to play for Man United or Real Madrid. And you know, you should definitely aim for that, but it's also about having a credible, realistic pathway and then breaking it down step by step as to what and how to achieve that dream, that goal.
Yeah, and just on talent identification, a lot of scouts kind of say they're not just looking for pure talent, but like they analyze things like attitude and kind of facial expressions and things like that. Do you, I guess, go as far as that and analyze things like that too?
Yeah, there is that is probably the key factor, because up until I would say probably the age of 14 or 15, that's when kind of sheer talent comes into it. And then after that, it becomes a case of who's willing to work the hardest, because, you know, unfortunately at the age of maybe 15, 16, kind of the guys who were no good, they don't enjoy it. So they've packed in. So it then becomes all of the guys who showed that talent at a young age, who are in the school teams, etc. They're the ones who carry on playing. And then you're competing with guys, you know, here in Dubai. And whoever really works the hardest and puts the most into it is going to be the most successful, really. You know, we have rejected players from our trials, even though they were a lot more talented than players that we have taken, because we are in the business of, you know, identifying all of the aspects that it takes to be a successful player and to go to the next level. And it's definitely not just talent. attitude I would say is, talent, you need to have a base level of talent, athleticism, technical and tactical knowledge. But once you have that base level, you can work your way, to your ceiling. So we actually show the guys a graphic at the start of every year, and it's indicated with ladders, and I can send it you. So the ladders are all different heights, and people are also, some people have a ladder that's this high, but they're standing on the bottom of it, and they're kind of, they already think they're at the top of the ladder. And then you have a guy who has a ladder half the size, but he's at the top of his ladder, and therefore he's ahead of the guy with the much higher ladder. So a bit of an issue in countries where the level of football is low is that people get halfway up the ladder and then they rest because they become the best in the region, which is a lot of our guys are, and a lot of the guys that are top academies out here. They're kind of at the top of the region. And they have this year between maybe 16 to 18 where they need to kick on, but they already think they're the best. And we're not looking for that type of player, because unless you're willing to learn, if you're already the perfect player at 16, why come into training? You've already done it. So we do give our guys role models and inspirations of the guys at the top level. Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, they say is the hardest worker in football. Having seen him myself and the hours he puts in after training, when he's already the best in the world, that's the type of attitude that we do look for. And a lot of our guys show it. And the guys who get to, for example, the D1 or the top D2 universities, I'm not going to recommend anybody to go to these universities if they haven't shown that they have the work ethic that it takes. And it has to be intrinsic. Nobody actually is going to be able to do it just with motivation from the parents or from the coaches. It does have to come from inside.
Yeah, fantastic. So I guess with that in mind, how will you kind of be pushing the kids for the rest of the summer? What are your plans for them for the rest of the summer?
So, for example, yesterday we did a challenge that coaches, a lot of the time what they do when they go to pre-season, so the first session, they'll give them a certain run, which is 3.2 kilometers. And they do expect it in between 12 and a half and 13 and a half minutes. So we've now set, for example, we did with the under 16s, 17s yesterday, we did that challenge. Some of them are coming close, some of them are at the level, and it's a case of finding the benchmark for these players at this part of the season, and then working on it gradually, giving everyone individual goals and targets as to how to get to that level of fitness, because this part of the season, unfortunately, and it's not the most fun part of the season, but it's all about the fitness levels. And we'd like to be the fittest team in Dubai. The kids actually only play 70 minutes here in the under 16s and the under 18s. And in majority of the games, that level's dropped by 50 minutes. So after 50 minutes, you have about 50 minutes of the pace that is desired. And then the last 20 minutes are a pace where the better team usually maybe scores 3, 4, 5 goals in that period. Whereas the levels that they're going to, they have to play 90 minutes at a much higher level. So going from 50 to 90 it is tough. And if our guys can't run hard for 70 minutes, they definitely can't run hard for 90 minutes. So we really push them to really, really focus on their fitness and stamina levels. We have all different types of tests, start the season and throughout the season. Because we're a top heavy academy, so we focus mainly on the higher age groups. It becomes more and more ruthless in terms of it's more performance based to get the minutes on the pitch. And the base level is stamina and fitness, and that's something that's controllable by each player. So if they're not showing that they're willing to put that hard work in, that's only level 1 really. So we really, really push our players on the fitness levels. And that's something that is the key part of this part of the season, which is the pre-season.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. All the best for the rest of the preseason. Really appreciate you joining Golf Youth Sport and sharing a lot of info about kind of the elite level of youth football. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we are looking forward to this coming season, and we wish everyone in Dubai and UAE health and safety, and we hope to be back on the pitch as soon as possible.